Have you ever felt like you're in the middle of a storm? Not just a rainstorm, but a storm in your life? Maybe it's a storm of anxiety, financial trouble, relationship problems, or just a feeling of being completely overwhelmed and lost. You look around, and all you see are towering waves of problems threatening to sink your little boat. It feels like you're all alone, desperately trying to bail out water while the tempest rages around you. In those moments, it's so easy to feel that hope is gone, that you're about to go under. Well, I want to share a story with you today, a powerful account from over 2,000 years ago that speaks directly into those moments. It's a story about a real storm, with real wind and real waves, but it's also about so much more. It's about where to find peace when your world is spinning out of control. Let's set the scene. Imagine a beautiful evening on the Sea of Galilee. Jesus and his disciples have just finished a long day of teaching and healing crowds of people. He turns to his closest followers and says, "Let's go over to the other side of the lake." So, they get into a boat and set sail. The air is calm. The water is like glass, reflecting the soft colors of the sunset. The disciples are probably feeling relaxed, chatting amongst themselves, enjoying the peaceful journey. Jesus, completely exhausted from pouring himself out for others, finds a cushion in the stern of the boat, lays his head down, and falls fast asleep. It's a perfect picture of tranquility. But on the Sea of Galilee, things can change in an instant. This large freshwater lake is surrounded by hills and mountains, creating a kind of wind tunnel. Sudden, violent storms can whip up without any warning. And that's exactly what happens. Out of nowhere, a furious squall comes down on the lake. The sky turns dark, the wind begins to howl, and the once calm water is churned into a frenzy. Waves, huge and powerful, start crashing over the sides of the boat, filling it with water faster than the disciples can bail it out. Now, remember, several of these disciples were professional fishermen. Peter, Andrew, James, and John, they had spent their entire lives on this very lake. They knew its moods. They knew how to handle a boat in rough weather. This wasn't their first storm, but this one was different. This was a storm so violent, so ferocious, that even these seasoned sailors were terrified. They were fighting for their lives, their knuckles white as they gripped the oars and rigging. The boat was being tossed around like a toy. The situation was desperate, and they were convinced they were all going to drown. And where is Jesus in all of this chaos? He's still in the back of the boat, sound asleep. Can you imagine that? The wind is screaming, the boat is creaking and groaning, waves are crashing over him, and he's sleeping peacefully. The disciples can't believe it. They're panicking, they're terrified, and their teacher, the one they left everything to follow, is asleep. Finally, in a mix of fear and frustration, they stumble their way to the stern and wake him up. They cry out, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" Think about that question for a moment. Don't you care? Isn't that the very question we scream in our hearts when we in the middle of our own life storms? God, don't you see what I'm going through? Don't you care about my pain, my fear, my struggle? It feels like he's silent, like he's sleeping, while our world is falling apart. The disciples' cry is our cry. It's a raw, honest, and deeply human reaction to overwhelming crisis. Jesus wakes up. He doesn't panic. He doesn't even seem startled. He simply gets up, looks at the raging chaos around him, and he does something extraordinary. He speaks to the storm. He rebukes the wind and says to the waves, "Quiet, be still." And immediately, the Bible says the wind died down and it was completely calm. Instantly, the howling gale stopped. The towering waves flattened out into a glassy surface. The terrifying roar was replaced by an almost deafening silence. The storm that had threatened to tear them all apart was gone, just like that. After calming the storm outside the boat, Jesus turns his attention to the storm inside the hearts of his disciples. He looks at them and asks, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" It wasn't an angry scolding, but more of a gentle, probing question. He had been with them. They had seen him perform miracles, heal the sick, even cast out demons. They had him, the Son of God, right there in the boat with them, yet they allowed fear to overwhelm their faith. They focused on the size of the storm instead of the size of the one who was with them in the storm. And what was the disciples' reaction to all this? They were no longer afraid of the storm, but now they were filled with a different kind of feeling. Awe. Absolute, terrifying awe. They turned to each other and whispered, "Who is this?" Even the wind and the waves obey him. They thought they knew Jesus. He was their teacher, their friend, a wise rabbi. But in that moment, they realized he was infinitely more than that. They were in the presence of someone who had authority over the very fabric of creation, the one who could speak to nature and have it obey. Their understanding of who Jesus was had just been completely shattered and rebuilt on a much grander scale. So, what does this ancient story mean for you and me today? It's a powerful reminder that storms are a part of life. We will all face them. Jesus never promised his followers a life free of storms. In fact, he was the one who led them directly into this one. But he did promise that he would be with us in the storm. The key lesson isn't how to avoid storms, but who to trust when you're in one. When we're in our personal tempests, our first instinct is often to panic, just like the disciples. We try to handle it all on our own, bailing water with all our might, until we're exhausted and hopeless. We look at the size of our problems, the waves of death, the winds of sickness, the floods of grief, and we feel so small and powerless. And we might even cry out to God, "Don't you care?" The story assures us that yes, he does care. He is not asleep out of indifference. His peace is not a denial of the storm, but a presence that is greater than the storm. The challenge for us is to shift our focus. Instead of staring at the waves, we need to turn and look at the one who is in the boat with us. We need to wake him up, not by panicking, but by calling out to him in faith. Faith isn't pretending the storm doesn't exist. Faith is knowing that the one who controls the storm is with you. It's trusting that his presence is more powerful than your problem. He might not calm the storm around you immediately. Sometimes, he calms the storm inside of you first, giving you a supernatural peace that doesn't make sense given the circumstances. He teaches us to trust him in the dark, to hold on to the truth that he is good and he is in control, even when everything feels out of control. Just like the disciples, going through the storm can profoundly change our understanding of who God is. It's often in our most desperate moments that we discover his power and his presence in the most real way. We move from knowing about him to truly knowing him. We realize that the one we follow isn't just a good teacher or a historical figure, but the Lord of the universe, who holds our lives in his hands. So, if you're in a storm right now, I want to encourage you. You are not alone. The same Jesus who was in that boat on the Sea of Galilee is with you in your boat right now. Don't let fear be your captain. Turn to him. Cry out to him. It's okay to be honest about your fear, just like the disciples were. But then, trust him. Trust that he hears you, that he cares, and that he has the power to speak peace into your situation. He can either calm the storm around you or calm the storm within you. But either way, he will see you through to the other side. That is his promise. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that explores faith in the midst of real life. And please share your own storm stories in the comments below so we can encourage one another. See you next time.